Literary Lives, Prakash Parienkar in conversation with Bhushan Bhave and Akshata Bhat. I call you all up on stage. Our three esteemed guests are writers and critics, as they just told me, and they will be discussing the process of writing. So please listen carefully, and there will be 10 minutes of Q&A, so ask whatever you have to ask about their writing, anything you need to know about writing, etc. Over to you.
So good morning, friends. I think this is the second session that you are in. For us, it is the first session. We have come just now. And our host of the day, Dr. Prakash, is also with us. Let me introduce him first before we start with the actual, part of his novel Puran. Prakash hails from a very agriculturist family from Valpai Sattari. I just will not restrict myself to say from the agricultural family, but he also is and was a farmer right from his childhood. Whatever he has discussed in his novel Puran was a part of his experience. Most of the things he has experienced he has taken experience of all the things on his own. Basically, this is the northernmost taluka of Goa. For those who are new to Goa, outsiders, let me request you to please visit this taluka if you can, within your short visit to Goa this time or the next visit. This is precisely because what we call the Madhai Valley civilization, the important part which he has discussed throughout his literature, not only in this novel, but all his literature which he has written before. Maybe it is Madhai Kagdatlan, Manatlan Kagdar, Kazatlan Kagdar, or the other thing which he has written about, for which he has got the Sahitya Academy Award, Varsal. This entire civilization of Madhai has been discussed. So right from the point starting from the Goa-Karnataka borders, top on the Sahyadris, till down to the point where this Madhai becomes Mandovi and it meets the Arabian Seas. He has described the entire flow of civilization, its geographical, its cultural aspects, social aspects, basically. And all these are depicted through his literature. So, this part is totally different because, see, as the name suggests, Sattari, meaning 70 revenue villages are combined together. Sattar in Konkani and all other Indian languages is 70. So this is how this small taluka is formed. So far it was known, and till today it is known as backward or developing taluka as such. Although we had so many politicians, right from our chief minister to the health minister hailing from that taluka. But still, by way of, network of roads or other developmental means like industries and all, it was underdeveloped. But as far as the agriculture is concerned, this taluka is the most progressive taluka. As he has described in his novel, just before we go for the conversation, we proceed with this conversation, may I know how many of you have read any part of his literature? May not be Puran. Anyone? Yeah, at least there are 4 or 5 hands coming up. That's a good sign, so that we will have a good question and answer session, right? But then Prakash has, through his Davarane, through his Madhai, all these books. So the things which we are going to discuss today are what we, in the literature we define the latest trends, like ecological literature, green literature, what we call, sustainable development. These are the points on which we are going to, how these things are depicted in the novel of Prakash and other writings of Prakash. We will not restrict ourselves only to Puran. But these are this is the ecological literature in Konkani. There are 4 or 5 such examples, handful of examples. I can cite some of them for your reference, like Kali Ganga is there, written by Mahabaleshwar Sail. Many of you must have studied on this aspect also. I have also, had an opportunity to listen to some of the papers presented on the ecological aspects of Konkani literature, like Kali Ganga was there. Then there was Achyo by Pundlik Naik. So there are handful of such novels which describe about this particular part of the trend that we come across nowadays. So these are not the stories of conflict, although there is conflict in the novel. This is the story of cooperation, coexistence. All these things will come as we take the discussion further. So on behalf of all of you, let me welcome Dr. Prakash for this beautiful interaction. In fact, in Goa, there are so many activities nowadays. He has already attended a session on ecological aspects of literature at DMC College, Mapsa, just now, 1 hour before, and he has joined us. So, I mean, for this entire writing, right from his childhood, what he has, experienced, he has bagged 2 major awards this month. This month, not this year. One was the Sahitya Akademi Award, which is supposed to be a very prestigious award, a national award, for his short story anthology called Versal. And recently, another parallel Sahitya Akademi Award, I will say, that is Vimala Pai Puraskar, Sahitya Puraskar, for his Puran, which we are going to discuss today, right? So these are he has got so many awards to his credit. These are the 2 because these are national awards, and he has got both of them in the last month only. So with these words, now I hand over to Akshata for her small comments on his literature. The flow of this session will be like this. After she completes her presentation or whatever she wants to say about Puran specially, I will also say a few words from my side. And then the platform will be open for question answers. We can ask questions directly to Prakash, or any aspect which we find that this is to be discussed here on this platform. We can definitely discuss with respect to Puran. Over to Akshata.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. And Bhave sir has already given such a beautiful introduction of the session, and of course, the person and the literature we are celebrating today, Dr. Prakash Parienkar. He has already told you about the thematic relevance of what we are going to speak. He has located it within the larger paradigm of ecological literature, about which I will be speaking as well. But there is another aspect that comes to mind when we look at Puran today. It's very rare for a piece of literature to be so nuanced that it becomes a medium through which a land rediscovers its way of living. A way of living rediscovers its voice, and a voice rediscovers its wisdom. And that is what Puran has done today with this form of cultivation, with this form of farming. A land is revisiting something, a kind of knowledge that was there, but through Puran somehow I feel that today we know more about it. It's also very rare that a novel that is so context specific, that it is based in a certain locale, but the issues that it has thrown up is so globally relevant today. Bhave sir has already told you about sustainability, about these are dense words today in global dialogue, but in a very simple yet sensitive manner, if you read Puran, you will understand that these words suddenly make sense, and they make, and they seem viable, they seem gettable, that we can also do this. Yeah, and that is the beauty of this literature. Now, the aspect that I would like to ask Sir about is the kind of traction that his novel is gaining. If some of you have followed the journey of Puran over the past year, you will see that there has been a lot of media attention as well, sir, where the site is being visited, and there is a lot of curiosity regarding the technique which has been initiated by his work, and a lot of student engagement, a lot of youngsters who want to go and try this out. And I must credit, and I understood why when I read the novel, because his style of writing is so evocative, it's so immersive, that when he writes about the technique of Puran Sheti, you feel that you're there doing that work, and that is the beauty of his style. And I feel that has somehow sown this seed of curiosity among youngsters, and this process of writing, transmuting into action, is something that is an incredible feat in any piece of literature. So with these few words, of course, I have, if you can see some post-its here, there are some lines I have marked, which at some point in the session, with Sir's permission, I would like to read out and tell you why I have, picked on that. But now I think we can, hand over this session to the main person from whom we would all like to hear, and carry forward this conversation. Yes.
Before Prakash takes over, let me explain you what is Puran, basically. As I have understood from the novella, because I am not, I don't belong to that particular area where the Puran was practiced for centuries together, maybe for thousands of years. Puran is a kind of, farming. It's a farming method, agricultural method, basically used for paddy. And then side products were cereals and other things. But it was mainly for paddy. When our ancestors, they gave up this shifting farming and they settled at a particular place. In Konkani, it is rightly expressed in the sentence called Khuti Marun Muthi Zulli. That means they settled at a particular place. Earlier, they were nomads, as all of us know. This is the history of the entire civilization. So, Khuti Marun Muthi Zulli means they decided, now we have to stay here. Now we have to settle here. Khuti is a sort of a, it's a symbol of getting stable. And Mati is house, shelter. So they settled at a particular place, right? And after that, they saw the best opportunity here on the banks of the river Madai, which flows right from that Karnataka border down to up to Usgaon. Because Prakash, our Ravin Kelekar used to say, a writer has to be a fighter, always. And if he's a fighter, that means if he or she is active in the social field, then only he can become a better writer. Prakash is not only a writer and a fighter. He was a fighter because he has fought this case of, protection of this Puran farming. For so many years, 12 years he has done the study. Right from Karnataka borders till Usgaon, Ponda. He has done the survey of this entire, and he's coming out with his book also, I think, which will be published in very soon. So he's a fighter also, he's a social activist also. And what Akshata mentioned just now was the site where he has revived this Puran farming. The entire revival of this farming method has been done. I was also a witness to that, along with the students from Goa University and other colleges. And actually the students came down to the field, which we don't expect nowadays to do. I mean, students are ashamed of doing all these things. They themselves have, participated in the cultivation. So this is the success of Prakash novel. It has not stopped only from writing. It has practically converted. It has revived the entire agriculture in Goa. And time to come, I'm sure that this is, because see, today I was discussing with my my father-in-law. He's 95. Today is his birthday. So early morning we had a discussion. I'm going for a discussion with Prakash Parienkar regarding Puran. The moment I uttered the word Puran, because he's 95, just see. So he told me that Puran was the major farming done by our ancestors. And yield was 1.5 times more than the regular cultivation, paddy cultivation. So there are so many aspects of this Puran which we have to study now. the agricultural aspect, the technology which these people were using for so many years, the kind of seeds. I don't know how many of you are aware. There were around 43 to 44 types of seeds of rice which were cultivated by our ancestors, which were invented by our ancestors, naming Asgo, Kurgut, Kusalgo, Sal, and so many others. I have the name, but will not spend time on that. And they had perfect knowledge, as Akshata has rightly said just now, what is we call today as TK, traditional knowledge. Lot of traditional knowledge was there with them with respect to the seeds, where these seeds are to be grown, which area, the area which is more muddy, which is having more, marshy land, which crop is to be grown, area which is on the slopes of the mountain, which seed is to be sown there. All this knowledge they had. They had knowledge about water management. He has extensively written on water management. The bunds which were constructed by the people during that time, I think now it has become extinct almost. But his brother, his elder brother, is still knowing that practice of how to prepare those, how to construct those bunds. And these bunds will, if they are built in that traditional style, you will not believe that even the concrete bridges also will fall short of them. They were so, perfect. So this traditional knowledge which our ancestors had has to be preserved with respect to cultivation, with respect to the seeds, with respect to everything that he has told in the novel. So Puran is a farming method which is cultivated on both the sides of the river using the natural fertile soil, the things which the river throws on both sides of the river in the monsoon season. And it is so fertile that just some water to that farming will give you 1.5 times bigger crop than what the regular paddy gives us. Okay, so this is what is Puran. So now over to Prakash. We will ask him 2-3 questions just to begin, then it is your session only. How this idea came to his mind, what were his experiences during his childhood, and how he got to know about this concept. So what made him to write Puran? Prakash.
Thank you, Dr. Bhave and Dr. Akshata. As introduced by Dr. Bhave, that I'm from farming family. And actually, right from my childhood, I used to, because we have Puran Sheti, and I worked for I think so almost 30-35 years. काम केला मी भितर जे Puran Shetan. So then in 1998, one seminar was organized by Peaceful Society Madkai and the Swami Vivekananda Kalasang Keli Sattari, and they requested me to present a paper on Puran Sheti. So I visited 33 villages that time. 33 villages right from the Kadwal to Ganje. So दोन्ही वाटेन, both the side of the rivers, and I have interviewed all the farmers, and then I came to know that there are 556 family. त्यांची पुरण शेत आशिल्ली 556 family from 33 villages. So then I presented a paper, and then I found that this is a major farming system we have in Sattari, and actually other tributaries also. There are other tributaries like Valvanti, then we have Ragada, then we have Nanodi Chinay, then other one is Velsa Chinay. Okay, thai Puran Sheti ashili. Then I presented a paper. I wrote articles also. Okay, that is appeared in, I think so, rice curry and fish curry and rice. Okay, it is translated, and it is that article is there. Then I wrote one articles, and it was published in one of the book, that is Davalne, Puran Sheti. Then I wrote in detail on articles on Purancheti, the process of the Purancheti, and it is appeared in my Madhe Kaळजातल्यान कागदार त्या पुस्तकाने आसा. Then I त्याचे उपरांत अनेक articles बरयले हांवें, that is appeared in Sattari Rang and Antarang. It is maybe more than 20 pages articles with the details of how many Puranchetis were there in each and every village. What is the place? Where is the place? Who is the owner? Everything is there. Okay, and which are the villages which the more Puran Shetkar was there. So these articles were. Then actually, whatever I found that this is a very important farming system, and tum khabar astale ki in 2005 government start building a check dam, and as per for your information, they have constructed 7 dam, lan band bandle आम्ही वसंत बंधारे म्हणतात ते. Okay, right from the Ganje to up to हांगा आमचे उस्ते. So then this Puran शेतीची सगळी जमीन आसा ती submerged in the water. त्याची सकयल गेली ती. So I thought that, and last Puran शेती I found that in 2014 तर आमची फॅमिलीची आशिल्ली. 2014 is the last Puran शेती. So it is actually I thought that it is better to write a novel on this. Because आमचे culture आसा, because we have long culture, thousands years of, we have long traditions of this type of Puran Sheti. And I have worked in that. I know what type of Puran Sheti are. आमचे तो 2 तरेचे Puran. There were 2 types of major. The Jyotichi Puran म्हणून असते. Jyotichi Puran actually where they bold, then that आमचे sand and the other कुशारे म्हणतात ते सगळे deposit जाता. Okay, and ते काढून सगळे मागीर ते माती मारून रोवपाचें असतं. So I have actually seen this, how they are actually cultivating this farming system, and what is the impact after the submerge of land under the water. Because you imagine that we have Go Sanskriti and we have Krishi Sanskriti. Because of Krishi Sanskriti, we have actually the Go Sanskriti. म्हणजे गोरवां राखताले पळय, तण मेळटालें ताका. Because they are both dependent on each another. So I thought that it is better to, is a very important issue, and government has not given any compensation to all 556 Puran Shetkar. We have filed a case that time. I have documents with me. Okay, actually I have written written letters to even Mamledars and even Mandu Desai. That time he was MLA. Then the other MLA, ex-MLA, that is Naraji Haldankar, and nothing has happened. And actually this is a major crop, is this paddy. Because आमची डोंगराची side आसा न्ही, because we don't have the paddy आमच्या आसा न्ही, because earlier, as Bhave told, was that आमचे shifting cultivation आशिल्लें. Shifting cultivation where the नाचणो लायताले, नाचणी, रागी ते लायताले पण. But even 1970 what happened, 1970 the Reserve Forest Act has come, or new rules has come. Okay, they impose on that on shifting based cultivation. It's completely stopped after 1970. So then Puran Sheti also stopped in 2005. So these are major issues actually. So that's why I feel that I have to write. It's my responsibility to attend this topic, and so this Puran Sheti has I've written this novel.
Basically, it is what we say, see, a particular writer selects one topic and starts writing. Automatically what happens, the genre in which he is supposed to write is decided. Like for example, when this topic came to his mind, he wrote first essay on that, maybe. Then when creative mind could not stop him from writing something on Puran, he wrote Kazarfar, a short story. Now the history will come. So those researchers would like to study Puran, no? I will provide them some glimpses where you can study more. One is how a particular piece of literature written by a author, say short story, the same has been expanded. The Katha Bij, what we say, is expanded into a novel. Why? What are the reasons? After writing Kazarfar, maybe he must be not satisfied with that. Whatever he wanted to put on the paper was not enough. So he chose another medium for that, literary form. This change of literary form, what we call Sahitya Prakarantaran, as we call it in Indian languages. It's a major thing in Goan literature, especially Konkani. You'll find it in other languages also. So this is one aspect. Second aspect is traditional knowledge, what I told you. So many types of traditional knowledge he has enlisted and he has described in his novel, right from construction of burns, selection of the sites, the actual cultivation which take place. There are incidences of, the symbols provided by the nature. They are the signals provided by the nature, like birds. If birds cry is itself a symbol of nature. It's a signal of nature. A particular bird, when it cries in a particular way, the ancestors used to know what time the rain is to come, whether the rain is delayed or it is going to come very soon. Depending on the different types of maybe birds cry or availability of insects at a particular time, the ample of insects at a particular time also signifies whether it is going to rain or it is not going to rain. So if you are going to study, you can study on these lines also, the traditional knowledge which is there with the farmers regarding this. Secondly, there are many cycles of nature. He has explained one. The other one is like, we'll take the cycle of grass. Grass is eaten by the cattle. From the cattle we get milk, cow dung, and what we call gomutra, urine, right? Milk is consumed by us in various forms. Cow dung is used by the farmers as a manure, as a fertilizer. And even the gomutra is used. It is all there in his novel. It is used as a pesticide. And then all this is converted back into vegetation. This is one cycle which is completed. Likewise, there are 6-7 cycles which he has written in this. We say Nisarga Chakra or Saim Chakra in Konkani. So all these cycles, they are repeatedly they are coming in his novel. So this interdependency, we cannot live without nature. This thought has come into the literature very recently. Earlier, nature used to come in the literature, but it was in the descriptive form. Now the human beings have come to know, especially the writers like him, that destruction of nature is going to change the history of the human civilization. And that's why the writers are now consciously writing about nature in their literature in this manner, what is now we call eco-critical approach. Yeah. So this approach, if somebody wants to find and study in detail, his novel is the best example for eco-critical literature. And then some birds leaving the village. There's a beautiful example. It's an alarming situation for the village, what he has described. If some birds are leaving the village, they are not seen around you, then it is definitely going to make some problem in your village. So these are the things which we have to study in the...
I think we should open it to questions and
Now,
answers.
if there are many, there should be many questions because at least 4 or 5 hands had come up. And even otherwise, if you want to, someone wants to ask, we can reserve this next 10 minutes for discussions. Anybody?
Especially, yes.
Start. Can this mic be given to them?
No, there is a mic. It will go around. We have 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have read Prakash in whatever limited way in translation. He is a very fine writer. In my view, it is, you are limiting him by saying he is an eco-critical writer. Fictional writing is much above this, and fictional writing encompasses everything. He is a very fine writer. I mean, I don't think we should limit to him. Anyway, my question is to Prakash. When you write this, obviously, at least as I assume, that it is not for the families or people who have been doing this Puransheti, right? It is for someone else. And because your novel is so rooted in these details, was there any aesthetic consideration that you had in your mind when you were writing for someone else? Because see, in literature, as you know, that these are the things when people come with different experiences, they really break the norms that were set to understand certain works of art. So, did you have anything of that kind in mind when you created the aesthetically? Is my question.
Yes, sir, certainly. Because first one is this is a long tradition. It has to be come in a novel form. This is the first one because the new generation don't know what is Puranjeti. But those who are actually those who are age of 20, because in 2005 onward the Puranjeti has at least is gone. Secondly, the what from Dr. Bhave, he has said that traditional methods used for construction of the barns. Okay, that is actually we have there is a Kharadizo barn because they used to use only the bolts. Then we have Valyanzo barn, that is you has to put a khame घालताले and then फातर घालून ते हे करताले. That is and that is a community farming. How they has to the people has to help each other in farming this the Puran Sheti process करताले ते. And secondly, the second part is very important is the environmental, because as you know that we can see now the this they teach mining, sand mining is going on, and that actually that time it was started the sand mining, and they distracted the flow of the Made river, and encroachment. Secondly, encroachment is I that day I actually shown to Dr. Bhushan Bhave how they have encroached the land in the right in a flow of the river, and that's why the flooding situation is right. आमच्या घराक केन्ना उदक लागूंक नासलें because in 2019-20 twice the everything is just flooded and आमच्या घराक उदक लागलें. Because this is actually 1984 the flood आयिल्लो, but that time the destruction is very less, but this time the destruction is very high. I don't know what is the reasons behind it, and because of construction dam the flooding जे जाता न्ही ते चड जाता. This is a problem behind it. So I thought it is because of dam, construction of dam, and this is traditional method, the process where you has to use, our farmer has to use, that actually need to be preserved, and it has to be that's why I actually put up in this story that the readers from across from the country and in the world, they has to know this type of systems, this type of farming system was there, and we have to preserve that. We have to continue this type of farming system. Yes, madam.
Yeah. Lot of facts are there. You had also written various articles, research articles on Puran farming. But when it comes into novel, जेन्ना कादंबरेन तुम्ही फॅक्ट्सांक तथ्यांक एका साहित्यीक प्रकारान हाडटा, तेन्ना सौंदर्य दृश्टीच्या त्या तरेन जेन्ना आमी विचार करता तेन्ना ते तुमकां चॅलेंजींग दिसूंक ना? कारण जेन्ना तुमी काणी सांगता, जेन्ना ताका साहित्य प्रकारान ताका फॅक्ट्सांक तुमी हाडटा, तेन्ना अशें जावप उपकारना न्ही की फॅक्ट शूड नॉट बी ताचेर हायवी जावप उपकारना. सो अशें केन्ना ही कादंबरी बरयतना अशें कितें चॅलेंजीस तुमच्या मुखार आयिल्ले?
ना मॅडम, कितें आसा, म्हाका चॅलेंजीसचे परस म्हाका चॅलेंजीस व्हडले दिसूंक ना, कारण अर्लियर आय हॅव रिटन दॅट काजरफळ शॉर्ट स्टोरी in 1997. Believe me that I have written this novel within 14 days, 31st of March to 13th of April. I took this only 14 days to write this novel. Because Puran Sheti मजेतच आशिल्ली मॅडम. I have actually हांव जीवन जगला तें. That's why I don't know the Puran Sheti is after me or I'm after the Puran Sheti. म्हाका खबर ना, because that's why I have this year I have Puran Sheti नवी करपाक घेतली हांवें. म्हणजे एक विशय जो आसा मॅडम न्ही, तो म्हाका सोडिना आनी हांव ताका सोडिना. आय एम आफ्टर दी पुरण शेती. आय डोंट नो वाय, वॉट इज द रिजन्स बिहायंड इट, दॅट म्हाका सांगपाक कळचें ना तें. दॅट्स वाय आय डोंट नो की 14 दिसांनी एक 200-250 त्यांची 230 पानाची एक कादंबरी बरोवन जाता म्हाज्या हातांतल्यान. ऑफकोर्स बागेर हांव एडिट बीन केल्या ती, पूण कंटिन्युअस आय टू रायट अ कंटिन्युअस इवन द कॅरेक्टर्स एक्चुली आय डोंट हॅव आनी प्लॉटूय नाशिल्लो म्हाजे कडेन. आय हॅव नॉट इवन प्लॉट तकलेन नाशिल्लो म्हज्या, बिकॉज इवन कॅरेक्टर्स हॅज कम टू मी, म्हाका सांगताले ते बरय म्हणून. मोस्ट ऑफ द कॅरेक्टर आनी मोस्ट ऑफ कॅरेक्टर्स आर देर इन अ सोसायटी रायट नाव. 80 to 90% ऑफ कॅरेक्टर्स स्टील अलायव आसा ते सगळे. इवन उस्पो आसा भितर, सगळे रोगलो आसा, सगळे एवरी वन आसा. म्हजो भाव भितर आसा. देर आर ऑल लिवींग कॅरेक्टर्स आनी आय कॅन शो यू इफ यू कम टू मी आय विल शो यू द प्लेसीस ऑल्सो. ही दुऱ्याची कोण दाखोवंक शकता, सरान पळयल्या ही दुऱ्याची कोण, दीस इज अ प्लेस, ही दीस इज ही हाजी आमच्या एक झाड अनंताची झाड अजून आसा कातरलेलें तशेंच आसा. हो बंधारो आसा तसोच आसा. हो दीस इज अ 3 फाटो. आय विल शो यू लिटरली द प्लेस, ईच अँड एवरी प्लेस. हे जे आसा ते गोठण आसा आनी दीस प्लेस एन एनक्रोच बाय वन पर्टिक्युलर पर्सन. ओके, रामचंद्र आसा आनी कितें केलां इतलेंच.
Okay, I'm really sorry to say that we have to end the session
Please
now.
allow one question.
You can ask him personally.
Okay.
Yeah, meet the authors. I'm sorry because it started late. I'm really sorry because the next session people are already waiting. So please meet the author, have a cup of coffee with him, and you'll get one-on-one personal interaction.